Welcome all you wildly wondrous, wide-eyed, and whimsical men and women of the World Wide Web. You have found your way to Cacophony Live. I am here in the podcast studio of sorts with the Hooten Hollers. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Hello.
I got John Randall, guitar and vocal. I got Andy Rehm. I was wrong in both accounts. And I have Kelly Everett. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. So we were just talking a little bit before I started. I had seen you guys open for Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band in the historic Sellersville Theater in Sellersville, PA, which that place like dates back before vaudeville. That was 1894 that they made that joint, and it's been still standing and rocking since. So I got a kick out of the vibe you rolled in there with. What was that like, man? What was that like playing in that theater?
It was great. The sound was incredible. It was a beautiful room. It's always fun to play in an old palace, be part of the history of a building like that.
And the food next door was some of the best food we had all tour.
Yeah, it might have been the best meal of tour.
It was really good.
That was out of nowhere. We got there early, and once I got my passes, I was looking for a place to get something to eat, and I walked in there, and at first I thought, well, this might be a little too rich for my blood, but it was like gorgeously affordable and wonderful food, so I understand. So that place, and there's another place in Philly called the Keswick, which has been around. And these kinds of joints, man, all over here, up and down the Northeast, like you could feel the musical history like pulsating through the walls in some of these places, like the old Electric Factory in Philadelphia, like that place, like you walk in there and you feel like you're walking into like this ambient fog of entertainment that's been there for like 60, 70 years. So I wanted to talk about you guys a little bit because when I left your show, I had to know more about you guys. And so Andy and John, you guys started off as a duet?
Yeah, correct. We were a duo. We started back in 2007. We met through my girlfriend at the time, and they had gone to high school together. And so we were just hanging out. We liked a lot of the same music, and we decided we wanted to jam a little bit, so we started doing that and kind of just never stopped.
What made you guys lean towards the blues?
Shit, probably like the rawness, the simplicity, the expression that you get from a lot of those old blues guys, just a dude and a guitar, and it's like you can't get much more emotional than some of those songs, at least in my opinion. And that's what originally drew me to that genre.
When I first heard Robert Johnson, it was like nothing I had ever heard before. And I grew up listening to kind of boring or straight up church music sometimes in my family setting, Not that there's anything wrong with that, if that's what you want to listen to. It was something totally different to explore,
Yeah. When I left your show, I was trying to explain it to people that I was talking to in the music world after the fact. And the sentence that I said to a friend of mine wound up making it into the show review. And I said, like, it was like watching like the very best of George Thorogood and the Destroyers and ZZ Top come together and have a baby all of its own and on stage just tearing it up. It was absolutely amazing, man. So Kelly, when did you get with the band?
So my first show was New Year's Eve 2013 going into 2014. So it's been almost 10 years now. They originally asked me to come in and record on Chillicothe Fireball.
Okay.
And once we had played a few shows together, sort of just I just never left.
That's really rad. I have to tell you that watching the show, I was watching you play the baritone sax, and that looked heavy in and of itself, right? And at one point in the show, you dropped down to your knees for a duet I couldn't believe how you manipulated that. And then you brought out the biggin. Then you brought out the bass sax. Tell me about that bass sax. How old is that? It looks kind of old.
It's 103 years old.
I figured as much. It didn't look in any way, shape, or form like it was some modern sax, and it made me think that's even more heavy. Like the fact that it looks vintage and it looks monstrous, and like you just tore it up with that thing. We were all amazed. Everyone in the general admission section of that joint was just gobsmacked at you playing that, and you guys sounded amazing together. Especially like that duet with John, where you guys both hit the front of the stage, and John pulled like a classic guitar pose and you pulled the same pose with the sax. Like absolutely amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, do you get a lot of attention with that? Is that like a conversation point?
Oh yeah, everyone always has questions about the bass sax. They got to know how much it weighs.
So how much does it weigh?
Well, do you want to guess first before I tell you?
I'm gonna say 83 pounds.
83. Wow. No, only 18.
Get out of here. It looks so much heavier than that.
It feels heavier than that too.
For those of you watching, there's going to be an image that pops up right over here of Kelly with that saxophone. Absolutely amazing stuff. That brings me to, I got a kick out of how you guys introduced yourselves. Like, I have friends that have been with me through my music journey, like my whole life, like teenage friends of mine now in my 40s that, still go to shows and still, try and jam with me a little bit and even help support efforts like this. And when John and Andy, when you guys introduced yourselves as my best friend John, my best friend Andy, that was actually like the most sincere moment I've heard at a concert ever.
Just want to start you heartwarming.
Like, I gotta tell you, like, at this point in time, I've seen hundreds of shows and you can kind of tell like what's the stage stuff and what's like sincere. And like, there's that sincerity between you two that was like undeniable. I'm like, this is real life. They're not just saying that for our purposes.
They're my best friends too.
It's true.
How come? Yeah, wait a second. Now, going forward, you guys have to say in our best friend Kelly, right?
Well, that happens before their little intimate moment.
We refer to Kelly as our best pal or friend at some point in the set, usually, to try to offset that increase.
Yeah, we don't want to make her jealous.
Oh man, that's awesome. The slide guitar. John, you got to talk to me about that slide guitar because you took a seat and you started wailing on this thing and you were like an inch from my camera. So I got some really great shots of it. But like, tell me like what drew you to that? How did you learn how to play it? What did that process look like?
Let's see. I don't know what drew me to it. I wanted to play some slide, and I had seen, actually, I guess many years ago, I saw a band called Jimmy and the Teasers out in somewhere in North Carolina. I want to say like the Heavy Rebel weekend or maybe in North Carolina. And the dude played a lap steel that he had on a stand and was just like shredding it, playing rock and roll. And I'd never really seen anything like that. And I think that's probably where I got the idea that I wanted to try to mess around with the lap steel. I got that little Gretsch Electromatic on sale sometime in around 20. We had already been a band for a while before I started playing that, so it was probably 2010 or something, or maybe 2011. And then it's still a couple of years before we started playing it live because I didn't really know anything about how to play it. I played it in tuned it to open E because that was we played a lot of songs in E, and I felt like E felt good for my voice, and that just seemed natural at the time, and so that's kind of what I've kept it in. And I played with 5 strings without a G string on there because of one time we were playing it and the G string broke, and it felt better to me then, so I never put it back on. And it's kind of how it's been since.
That's really cool.
I don't know. I don't have a very good origin story for that thing, other than I guess I just picked it up and practiced it a lot.
I'm completely jealous. So as much as I love music and I've been through the New York scene, I went to high school up in Queens. So, the East Village scene was definitely like where I gravitated towards. And as an adult, I've got 3 daughters and a son. And twice I've tried to take guitar lessons with them. And I figured like, I love music. I love all different genres of music. I want to learn how to play. And these fat little Jimmy Dean sausage fingers was not having it. It got to a point where like my 13-year-old daughter was a year and a half in. She was playing the Pixies, and the teacher's looking at me like, "And how's Mary Had a Little Lamb, Eric?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Well, hey, maybe try the slide out. It doesn't matter how long your fingers are when you got to slide.
It was, and you know, of course, like I didn't buy like a beginner's guitar like a smart person would. I'm like, you know what, I need a Telecaster. Let's go. That's what I started with. Skinny little neck, and I yeah, couldn't swing it. Couldn't get through Yankee Doodle Dandy. And my daughter's in the next room playing Nirvana. So I don't know. That's so now when I'm on a business call, the guitar sits behind me like a prop. And people are like, "Oh, do you play?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah, so I'm always envious of good guitar work.
Nice.
You know, hey, we'll take you in drum world anytime, man. Doesn't matter how long your fingers are, you know. Pop right into drum world. Also looks cool in the background of a Zoom call.
Looks cool. And on stage, too. I got some great shots of you on stage as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. No worries. So you guys started off in Missouri. Are you guys still based out of Missouri?
Yep.
Okay.
Me and Andy live in Columbia. That's where the band was started, and Kelly's in St. Louis, about 2 hours down the road.
Very cool. So 2007, you guys get started, the two of you guys together say that you're going to do this duet thing. You start hammering it out. Did you have any albums out together prior to Kelly joining in?
Yeah, we did. We had a couple of kind of self-release, self-produced albums that are long out of print, and then one album that we had recorded before Kelly was on the scene with us, Greetings from Whelp City. We still have that one available and still play songs off of it. The other two were more kind of like garage demo-y type things that haven't seen the light of day for a while. And I don't know if they ever will.
What's next for you guys? Like, what does obviously the holidays are coming up the next couple of weeks. 2024, what does that look like for the Hooten Hollers?
Well, we've got a new album that's going to be coming out in the summer, hopefully. We've already recorded it, so we're in the mixing phase right now. We're going to be out on the road with the Dead South in February, so that'll be a whole bunch of fun.
Great band. That's going to be a lot of fun. Are you guys swinging through Philadelphia in that tour?
We are, yeah.
Yeah,
hit us up. We'll put you on the list.
Yeah, go ahead, because I want to bring the whole show review for that show and do a whole piece on just you guys. That would be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Awesome, yeah.
Speaking of which, you know, talking about touring with people, Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band, like I said, I've been a fan of them for the last couple of years. Found them by accident at a Dead South show, as I was saying. And, you know, I've become a huge fan of not only that sound, but of them personally. What's it been like touring with those guys?
Oh, a blast.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. We knew very quickly that we were going to become friends with these folks, and we've had fun. You know, we went out with them for a tour earlier this year and then again on this tour, and it's just been a blast. Reverend Peyton and I have this Star Trek connection that, you know, is very easy to enjoy together. You don't find a whole lot of extreme Trekkie nerds in the music industry, so...
You found another one.
Oh!
Yeah, man. I try and sell Strange New Worlds to anyone that'll listen, to the point that people are stopping talking to me altogether because I'm just going to bring up Star Trek.
Oh, it's great, man. I love what they've been doing with the new Trek, and yeah, bring it on. Give me more.
Did you like Picard?
I did like Picard. It was a little bit hard to see him that way at first, you know, like as a not very confident old man that he's not winning all the time right off the bat, you know, in that series. But by the time we got to season 3, the payoff was real, you know, seeing all those characters reprise their roles.
On the original deck, no less. Oh, my God. I was practically weeping like a baby. They all lined up in their original posts, and I'm like, that's it. That's it. I can die now.
Incredible. It was incredible.
I can't lie. My work desk, I have a little Mego figure of Q that just sits there and reminds me to stay on the right course.
We have a little figurine of the traveler that rides on our rear view mirror in the van.
So I meant to ask you guys, who does your merch out front?
Who sells it or who makes it?
Who's out there working the booth for you guys?
That's Steve. Steve! He's in the other room. You want me to go get him?
So I have to give Steve his flowers, man, because I kind of stumbled up to the booth. Yeah, I stumbled up to the booth pretty excited about your show, and I was like, I need to talk to them. And he was like, I love your battle vest. I'm going to make it happen. So I was pretty cool.
Have a seat, Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
We got him right here.
All right,
Yeah, man.
here you go.
Oh, what's up, dude? I'm gonna take the show.
Steve! So first of all, I just wanted to give you your doing proper, right? Because you helped make this happen in a small way at the Sellersville Theater, but you were also super cool to me in my battle vest. You hooked me up and got me some patches and some pins to throw on there, and I just wanted to say, like, thank you, man. You're awesome.
Thanks, man. It was fun. It was great meeting you too. That was a great show out there too.
Steve's a vital part of this organization, and as you can see, he's really good at his job. It's like it takes a certain kind of person to be good at that job, and Steve is that kind of person. If you know what I mean.
I am sure there are plenty of would-be editorialists and podcasters, chasing Steve down at the end of shows, and he handled it like a champ, man.
Yeah,
he handled it like
usually he flex them.
Wait for reasons why they're chasing me down.
I was just happy to see another battle vest in the building. I thought, like, I wore it because as a gag, I had removed Johnny Rotten from the back of my vest, and I had put Reverend Peyton's patch in its place. So I wore it as like a goof. It's like a punk vest, but it has Reverend Peyton at the top, right? And when I saw Steve's, I was like, now I need a Hooten Hollers one. It has to add to it. Like now we're growing something different. So Steve, thank you for initially breaking the ice here, and I really appreciate you handling me like a professional when I was fanning out and hunting you down at the booth in front of the lobby. So
You approached her with a smile, so that was the least I could do, right?
yeah, it'd be weird if I was like, I want to speak to the band. Who's your manager? Yeah.
Hop or something?
That would be off-putting if I came with like a stern face. Yeah, it's funny. I took my dad to that show. My dad's a huge blues rock fan. I mean, huge rockabilly and southern rock, outlaw rock, which is weird because we're all from New York, right? But yeah, I don't know. So my dad got into like southern rock and blues and soul, and somehow I started watching Southern pro wrestling, and neither one of us knew the other's passion until we were adults. I was like, I liked watching Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes because they didn't talk like anyone in our family. And he said the same thing about the music. So I took him, and he was texting me all week. I think he wanted an invite to the show. He's like, sorry, you gonna talk to the Hooten Hollers? I said, yeah, man. Like, oh, well, it was a good show. I said, yeah, you want something, or you want to come on? Yeah, so I really appreciate it. The whole show was just awesome. Huh?
I said, tell him we said thanks.
I will. Are you kidding? That's gonna be the highlight of Sunday dinner. It's like, hey, just so you know, the band said hi.
Hi, boss.
That may get me a really awesome Christmas present. You may have just thrown me a huge smile. I appreciate that.
Nice.
Which was funny because like I started when I wrote for a magazine in Philly for like 4 years, and when I started doing this on my own, it was just teenagers, and they're like, no one's reading online print as much as they want interactive video stuff. You should really be doing something else. So the old man is like, I don't want you to mess up your time management and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden he's like, can I come to a show with you? Can I come to the next show? So yeah. So we have a new tour coming up. You're touring with the Dead South, a new album. What else? What else is in the works? I knew at some points there was, if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me, there was a harmonica player in the band at one point or not. Am I correct in that, or am I off base?
No, that's correct.
Yeah, for about 2 years there. And for a brief time, maybe about a year, we had a 4-piece with Kelly, and his name was Paul Weber. His name is Paul Weber.
Tuba player, right?
Yeah, tuba and harmonica.
Tuba and harmonica, yeah.
Gotcha.
And combo.
All right.
So he left the band to be a farmer. So that's why went back to being a three-piece after that.
Yeah, that's the
lot
call
of
of
farming.
farm, I
Killing
guess.
it.
Good, man. You see, here in South Jersey, it's funny because people think of New Jersey and all they think of is like the Sopranos, right? They think of like chemical steel stacks and, like
Pork roll.
highway. Yeah, pork roll. But south of Trenton, New Jersey, like in the Philly suburbs, it's actually farmland. That's where the term the Garden State comes from. It's not from North Jersey. That's the Sopranos, right? But South Jersey is just acres and acres of farms as far as the eye can see, all the way into the Pine Barrens. So like there is this like quasi Southern culture here. Like it's not really south of the Mason-Dixon line, but people think it is, right? So there are people that like there's country clubs and people like, have a little bit of a twang that they shouldn't have for being this high up on I-95. It's a very weird thing, but like the farm culture is alive and well here in Jersey, if you can believe it.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, everyone eats vegetables.
Yeah, it's got to grow up
The next
somewhere.
time you bite into a Jersey tomato, you let them know that was from South Jersey, man. That's a good tomato right there. So, guys, going forward after this, do you guys have any plans on doing any bigger shows? Do you guys see yourselves doing like the Wells Fargo Center or MSG? Like when does the next tick up take place with how you're planning your tours?
There's no way of knowing, but we'll keep doing what we're doing for anybody that'll listen, no matter how many of them there are.
That's cool. That's very cool. So if there's anything that you want to translate to your potential new fans, your current fans, random passerbys on TikTok, and of course the drive-by YouTube reel, what would that be about the Hooten Hollers? If you could sum it up in an elevator pitch.
You got to see it to believe it.
Yeah, that's right.
I absolutely would concur with that. That's awesome, guys. I cannot thank you enough for pulling up with me today. Not only that, but I had to run late because we had a storm through town and we lost our Wi-Fi for a minute. Kind of inconvenient on a podcast day. Yeah. So that being said, what's up?
I said you did a great job keeping it together with the power.
You have no idea. It was like 2:02, and now I'm turning on the lights and yeah, it was ridiculous. It was nuts.
You seem cool as a cucumber.
Public speaker for a living. It's not fun like this. Day job is like teaching engineers how to like use software and telecommunications. So if you're not engaging, people are sleeping, right? So I figured it was a natural transition to do stuff like this. Cool under fire. If I could listen, the day that I pick up the drums, man, then I can experience what you guys experience, which is not anything like what I get going on here.
Well, when you play the drums, you usually don't have to talk too much.
No, it's but like maybe I could. Maybe there's a way, like to pull like a Phil Collins and sing behind the drums or something. I don't know. Dave Grohl.
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah, I'm sure all of my friends, but to my family would be there with cameras reeling to put it on YouTube as I flop my way through that song. So, guys, where can people find you? Tell me all of the avenues in which people can find you, hear you, follow you.
Well, a great way to follow along is to sign up for our monthly newsletter, which they can do on our website, thehootenhollers.com. But all the other streaming platforms, digital platforms, social medias, we're on all of it.
You guys are on TikTok, too. I found you on TikTok.
We're on TikTok. Kelly is the TikTok queen. We're working on one of these days. We're going to go viral on TikTok. And that's going to be our to the Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah.
Till then, though, we'll keep on talking.
Guys, thank you so much. I want you to enjoy your Sunday, and I can't thank you enough for giving me this time today and letting me kind of introduce you to a whole new group of people, because I was blown away. I expect others to be blown away, and if you're not in MSG in the next 2 years, I'm going to petition. You're going to see me out there stopping the Thanksgiving Day parade, Yeah, it's gonna be it's a riot.
Every
Mass hysteria. Yeah.